That's right, adventurers, we're playing ActRasier. So, it says welcome back, but I did it just to skip over the really quick optimizations of the menus. So, to talk a little bit about ActRasier, ActRasier is a mix of different genres crammed into one video game. And it's also a blatant allegory of Christianity sweeping the world and destroying all old religions. As a matter of fact, when the game was originally released in Japan, the main villain's name was Satan, and it was not just an allegory, it was straight up a retelling, straight up a story of it. Essentially, your goal is to travel around the world and rid the world of monsters and ancient beasts in order to make the lands habitable for people. And so this is what a lot of people would call the main part of the game. It's an action, side-scrolling platformer, and you run through, you kill enemies, you smack them with your sword, and as you go, there are some RPG elements to it. Your levels increase due to actions in the outside world, and with your level increases, your hit points go up, which is that blue bar in the upper right-hand corner. I do a little bit of showboating, hopping around. And you also get upgrades as you travel around in the outside world, which we'll explain a little bit more when we get there. Those upgrades are things like spells that you can use in combat, as well as your HP, not only for your side-scrolling character, but for your overworld character goes up as well. Now, the overworld portion of it is considerably more like a Sim City kind of situation. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. Mostly, I just wanted to show you this wonderful retro game that I grew up playing, and now it's pretty popular in speedrun communities. A lot of speedrunners play this game and can beat the entirety of just the side-scrolling bits called professional mode, and we'll talk more a little bit about that later. In about 30 minutes, if I remember correctly. So we have our first boss of the first stage of the first town area. They call them acts. This is Act 1, and obviously it's a centaur here with a big spear, little phallic there, and some lightning bolts to wreck your shit. So the trick is, if you're not speed running it, I'm not going to talk about speed running strats because I can't speed run this, not yet. But the trick is basically wait for him to open up his guard, and then you can hit him, kill him. Nice picturesque finish here, as I like to do always at the beginning or at the end of a boss fight. Text gets in the way of making it nice wallpaper. I do want to do a cosplay of this character someday. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do a cosplay of the ActRasier warrior, kind of the avatar of God, if you will. So God sends down lightning bolts and creates Adam and Eve, actually. Sir Rambling Bard. It kind of tells you about the points of, the finer points of what you're supposed to be doing here. And essentially, you develop your town, guide your people to the little miniature monster lairs that are here, which you'll see here shortly. And as you develop the town, people get stronger, you get stronger, you find neat things, and you have to help the town out by doing things like sending lightning to burn the bushes away, so that way people can build roads, because apparently they can build roads, but they don't know how to use their scythes and sickles and gardening implements to burn away bushes. So first I'm going to show you the combat mechanics of the overworld here. You just fly around and shoot arrows. Different enemies do different amounts of damage. The bats, as you can see, do 1 tick. I don't want to say the little blue dragons do 2 ticks of damage. They actually take 3 arrows to kill. So here we're going to cast some lightning on this square right here. And usually when you're casting a harmful weather effect like that, or a spell as they call it, spell points are determined upper right hand corner, the gold number. Right now you see I have 12 of 20. And casting a lightning bolt costs 10. Well, every time you kill a monster, you get some spell points back. Bats are 1. I think dragons are 3. Basically, however many arrows you have to shoot at the thing to kill it, that's how many spell points you're going to get back. And that explains this here. Sorry, you don't have enough spell points to cast this. And, yeah, just more of this. Fly around, kill some bats, get some spell points, clear out some bushes. It's really, this game is really a blending of a lot of the fun genres that I ended up growing up to like, specifically RPG and fantasy. I really enjoy. And see, when you're building, there's some obstacles you can't remove with your weather effects and that you can't build around. That's kind of what I'm showing there. And that hourglass, again, top right of the screen, just to the left of your spell power, and the population number, which is the blue number there, is basically a turn on the overworld. And each turn, the town is able to build so far with their roads, and at the end of the turn, the town is under construction, which ceases all monster production. They don't generate while the town's under construction. And with this very first town here, you just have to kind of build a little bit until they're confident enough to hunt animals, and then they'll tell you they're ready to be taken to monsters' lairs. And all you have to do is build a road to the monster's lair, and the people will take care of the rest. They offered me an offering because they found a source of magic there in the forests. And this is essentially your MP, or your magic points, as your side-scrolling avatar of God character. As you can see there, I've guided the construction to go up to this bat's nest here, because right now we're unable to cross the river. So, with a little bit of speed up magic, I'm going to show you what happens. So essentially right here, we're just kind of waiting for the construction to finish. The townspeople give me a bomb, which I accept as an offering, and it's a one-use item that kills all flying monsters. So here we go. We'll sealing the monster's lair here, and we'll watch the reaction to this. Gasp! Gasp! Here we go. Here's the strange statue I was mentioning. A bomb. Very useful, especially later on when you've got a whole bunch of enemies flying around and they're going to hurt you. Or you don't have any arrows because your health is zeroed out. As the angel, if you run out of health, you just become unable... excuse me. You just become unable to shoot arrows until the next time the town goes under construction and you regain a little bit of health. You don't actually die. But because you're not able to shoot arrows, the bats will abduct people, and the dragons will burn houses, and the devils will make fields go dry, and then the skulls will cause earthquakes. So you might notice here they're building these little straw huts too, and that's something to note. As well as these fields just kind of grow, I guess, vegetables. They don't ever really designate what they're growing in this particular type of field, the brown with the green. Oh, an event. Better hope you have enough spell points to cast rain. Which it is 20. Luckily I had enough. Fire's been put out. Commentary on the nature of human beings. Yeah, let's clear out some more brush. We're going to do some more fast forwarding here to kind of save us the time until we can get to the next major event. Maybe here in just a moment. So we'll just kind of speed this up a little bit, ×2 speed. Your level goes up as the population increases. And when your level goes up, your HP increases, as does your spell power. It's a little bit more of a run around killing time. It's one more bat lair done. You might notice the roads might bug the completionist in you, and they do in me as well. Oh, look at that. The home's changed. Oh, they asked us to just send lightning to destroy this big rock. Zip. Oh, bats are carrying away people. They tell you immediately they found a magic token, and you can go and accept the offering. This is your first spell, Magical Fire. And when you use it, it sends fireballs rushing out to the right and left of you on the side-scrolling portion of the game. No spells for the little angel. So let's direct the town. Oh, can't go through those. Rather than taking out the dragon first, I like to save the dragon for last. I don't know why. Just always have. Because he'll take out homes for you. You may have noticed that that upper right-hand corner of Fillmore has some different looking houses now. They kind of look like cabins, whereas the others were straw huts. That's because the conditions for living have improved for the people. As you level up, that happens as well, and the houses improve. And to some extent, the houses are more resilient to some of the weather effects. But for the most part, the houses can hold more people. So, as the end of the game nears, you want to do optimization things like going back to all of your older towns with your higher spell power and casting that earthquake spell that you might have seen all the way to the right of my my spell lists or weather effects. What that will do is it'll wipe out all of those straw huts and even all of the cabins in lieu of the super upgraded top version of houses for that particular area. So that way, you know that as the town goes through construction again, essentially you're going to ensure that you have the most amount of people, which is what increases your level, most amount of people living in all of your towns. And you want more life, so that way you have more power and more sustainability while you're playing through your the different portions of the game. So here now, we're going to take this road over here, since Fillmore has learned to build bridges, which they also give to you as an offering to teach to the next town, because they've got some bridges that they would need to build to cross as well. And there's the earthquake, but it costs 160 spell points. I'm still 100 spell points shy of doing that. Optimization at this early level really isn't all that important, but doing it for fun is always neat. Zap. So we zap all those old houses, and my intention here was originally to show you when the town goes under construction, you'll see people run up and fill these holes with the new versions of the houses. None of them did. They stayed over here because they're more interested in where the construction is pointing. So I'm going to seal this blue dragon's lair so he can't lightning bolt any more houses. However, when this happens... Oh no! Ah yes, when you destroy the monster's lairs, their living conditions can improve. That's what it is. Oh no, he's having nightmares. Can't have that. Well, we can do that. Let's go look at this hole that you're talking about. Whoa, where did that bad boy come from? Okay. Well, time to go to a pit, I guess. So all of these places that I'm flying around here, you kind of see, the plan is to make room for the best houses as they build them. You'll get to see a swanky one get built now under this realm, or this little run of construction. Watch them build this mansion. Purple roof, so you know it's rich. I like the colors in this game a lot. The palette stands out really nicely. Everything's clearly defined. And the music is really nice too. You get used to it, especially in town. It gets a little repetitive. But the music for every level is a little bit different, and the theme for every level is a little bit different, which is nice. You saw in the first battle sequences there, it's kind of like, I guess, medieval Europe, Western medieval Europe, because it's all trolls and goblins and imps, and you know, it's like you stepped into a D&D game, which is, hey, probably why I love this game. So when you go into return to your Sky Palace, select your fire magic because it is newly found. If you don't select it, you go into this level without it. Fall into the great black anus of the earth. And this level, Act 2, is a little more Greek-Roman. Like he said, the evil monster Minotaurus. Gee, I wonder what it could be. I think those are supposed to be like harpies, just without titties, I suppose. Some more imp-like creatures throw daggers. This is a neat little level. And there's actually 2 paths you can take to progress through it. You can go right here, or you can do like I did, and be like a real adventurer and go left. It doesn't really matter, it's just a difference of items you can find. I think the other way is actually a little more difficult, and there might be a 1-up. But, like I said, I don't remember, because it's been a good long while since I've played this with any consistency. Back in the day when points, quote-unquote, mattered. Because video games on Super Nintendo still had that feeling of, well, this could be an arcade game if you code it right. And especially the professional mode version of ActRasier is a lot of, essentially, well, it's essentially just this, and I could totally see that working as a arcade game, because it's a platformer. You run, you jump, you kill stuff, you've got levels. There's not really a continue mechanic. I mean, I guess there is. You run out of lives, you have to start completely over, as opposed to at these little checkpoints like you just passed here. Some of the enemies, you look at them and you're like, what even is that supposed to be? Like the little skull thing, is that just like a deadly table lamp? The game has good design, though, in the sense of it teaches you what the enemies do before you get stuck having to deal with them. So, like, before, if you don't rush too much, you'll see those lower faces spit those balls out, so you won't be surprised by them when you jump onto a platform and get hit by one. It forces you to kind of wait for the timing, and it's so spaced out and so rare that if you're not, you would think like, oh man, there's just no threat to that at all. And indeed, if you move fast enough, there really isn't. But if you move fast and hesitate, then you can very easily get hit by those fireballs, get knocked all the way back down, which makes that vertical jumping portion that much more a pain in the butt. You can kind of watch for the lighter spikes on the ceiling above you through the letters, cleverly hidden behind your heads-up display there. And suddenly, boss battle! And I miss with the spell. Whiff like a pleb. The only downside to this is a lot of the boss battles pretty much sum up in just, especially even in speedrunning strats, sum up in just wail on them. It's a DPS race. Hit them as fast as you can. And here I get frustrated with the text because I want that nice clear thing, so I'm going to mess with layers real quick. Nope. Nope. Yep, there it is. Except for that stinking little fireball in the upper right. And then you fart back out of your statue. So then you come back to your town. Aww. The Mr. Man is gone. The, generic curse of death. And so Fillmore tells you, get the fuck out, we got this from here. And you're like, nope, gonna optimize all your streets first. So to optimize the map, all you really have to do is just make sure you've got your roads filling in every possible space. Next, we have the town of Bloodpool, which is actually where we'll be going next episode. And we'll have to go down into Bloodpool to help clear the monsters out so people can inhabit this area. Before we do that, though, I do want to show you the rest of the map. We've got Cassandora here, Aitos, Mahrana, and of course, our northern place, North Wall. It had a wall before there was a wall. And what is this mysterious circle? Guess we'll have to find out at the end of ActRasier, but for now, Bloodpool. And adventurers, thank you so much for stopping by. Remember, life is a series of choices between fear and love. Choose love. Have a nice one, adventurers.